everyone, it's Sonja again from East Coast Recovery. So this week we are going to be doing, we've done some recovery videos, and this week they're going to be on step 4 and 5 from the 12 steps of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And the steps 4 and 5 are made a fearless moral inventory of ourselves, and step 5 is admitted to God, to ourselves and another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. So Holly, I've known you for a number of years, and I know that you have been clean now for nearly 4 years. Can you tell me, what was your first thought when you looked at the steps and you looked at step 4 and 5 and you read it? What was your first thoughts?
To be honest with you, especially what you hear in the rooms about the step 4, and some people can say, it's one of the most hardest steps, and so you end up going by that, which I did. Do you know what I mean? The fear around it of how can I talk about my stuff or even get that down on paper, because my story was always worse than yours, and one of them ones. So that was my kind of understanding. I was driven by fear around that step to begin with.
And then so I guess everyone else telling you how scary it is, it just makes you feel, it fuels it, I guess, doesn't it? Holly, once you got to your step 4 with the lady in AA, because I know you started in NA, you've got some wonderful friendships in NA and some wonderful experience, and I guess some not so wonderful experiences, and then you came to AA, and then a lady there helped you. What was the reality of step 4 and 5?
Well, my reality and my experience around that, by the time I got to that step, which took a number of years after relapse, it was, we can't work steps, 4 without 3 and 3 without 2 and 2 without 1. So I know that going through the early chapters of that book and understanding the grave nature of alcoholism and understanding what I suffer with, in that process, I'm developing that personal relationship with the person that's under the fact that is my person on page 18 of that big book. And because at that point, as you know, my story, I'd absolutely lost everything, kids, home. So at that point, I had that desperation of a drowning woman. So there was no looking back. I had no choice. It was either to fight for it or I was running out of places to go. So by the time I got to that, I'd already done a chapter each week. She gave me 2 weeks to do it, and it was done. It was done.
Lovely. Yeah, that's the same for me. Exactly. Totally relate. Last house on the block. It didn't really matter what I thought about it. I just needed to do it. And I totally get what you're saying. On page 72 of the big book, why do you think, from your experience, do they call it a vital step? They describe it as step 4 and 5. They describe it as the vital steps. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think in my understanding of that, if we skip this vital step, we may not overcome drinking. And it talks about in the book, doesn't it, resentment is the number one offender. So I know from previous experience, if I'm holding on to that resentment and the unforgiveness, and I'm driven by all that fear, I'm not going to grow. So again, it's that, it's the flaws, I call it sin. It's that kind of separates me from God. It's to what I'm trying to grow closer to. And I'm just trying to clear the wreckage of my past, leaving no stone unturned.
That's it, because when we first come in, Holly, and you kind of, that you have to start looking at yourself, it's pretty painful. And would you say that a lot of the people balk from it because I don't think anyone's wrong or bad, but do you think that it's a lot of fear and people just haven't got the courage to look at themselves? Because
I think a lot of people as well don't even know how to look at themselves, because you're so wrapped up in self. I was so wrapped up in self until, again, I had someone talk me through it and, again, help me understand the nature of this stuff. When I was able to thoroughly look at that stuff, and she was able to point out that selfishness, that self-centered fear, it was all self. So I had to disregard others and look at myself and do the internal work on myself.
And what do you think the benefits are?
Well, as a result of that stuff, of going through all of that stuff, I've had a personality change. So I know for now that my whole, it talks about the psychic change, doesn't it? The personality change. It's all the same thing to me, and I don't think how I used to think. I mean, you know me, and now to be married, to be raising children, to be working and gaining qualifications. Now, if that isn't evident within them steps and thoroughly doing them steps, then I don't know what is, but as a result of doing all that stuff, I've got I'm now on a new footing. I'm now a new creation as a result of this stuff.
Holly, I just want to say thank you so much for giving me your time tonight. You've been really fantastic. I think you're a miracle, and I'm glad to say that you're one of my friends. Thank you very, very much.